Hey everyone, Andy here from Custom Carving UK. I hope you're all doing well. I just wanted to do a quick video. I managed to get some new burrs through in the post, just a standard Tungsten Carbide set of 10 from Amazon. I think they cost me around about 12 quid. And I realised it's been a little while since I did a carving video. So I've had a spare piece of wood sat in my workshop just staring at me, and I thought, you know what, I'll do this as a combined video on seeing how well the burrs do, as well as carving a wood spirit, because I've not done one for a while, as a bit of a tutorial for you. So I hope you enjoy the video. If you do, like and subscribe, but let's jump straight into it. So here we are in the workshop. Obviously got the respirator ready. This is just a piece that I'm working on at the moment. Can you guess what it's going to be? Put in comments if you can. And this is what everybody needs, a new pencil. I'm not going to do a review on the pencil because I'm sure you all know how they work, and they're pretty similar regardless of the brand. But no matter how many of these I buy, I always can never find one when I need one. And this is the set. So 10 different burrs. I think it cost me $12.99. I'll put the links in the description. And this is just a spare bit of, I think it was cherry that I had left over from a previous project. I never throw anything away, and this is why, because even a spare little piece of wood like this, you can turn into something. So first thing we're going to do is just draw on a rough guide with the pencil. Always draw your lines in pencil first. It makes it a lot easier. You can even rub them out on wood. So here I am just marking out the nose. Now on a wood spirit, it's important that you don't make your nose too thin. So you're always better off to leave a little bit of space. And obviously, if you're doing it on a flat surface, you need to draw a center line. With this already having that perfect point, I'm going to use that as my center line, and I'm just making sure that everything's going to fit on. This is where I decided actually the nose needs to go a bit lower to give me a bit of room for the eyes, which I'm glad I did. And again, try and make sure everything is symmetrical. It does make a difference. Now, this wood is slightly different on each side, as in how much space I've got to work with, but I'm going to try and work with it and try and sort of swerve him around a little bit. I am going to do a beard with this one as well, because I just think they look better with beards. So happy with that. As normal, I'm going to be using my Dremel 4000 with a flex shaft attached. So if you haven't got a flex shaft, get one. It makes life so much easier. So just going to change the burr out what's in for one of these new carbide burrs, and I thought it'd be interesting to just test them out. Usually I work with a cut saw to get most of the roughing out, and then I'll turn to one of these just to smooth everything out. But I thought, you know what, as a bit of a challenge, let's see if I can carve a wood spirit using just these. They look pretty good quality. And the cherry I've got is quite a dense wood as well, so it'd be interesting to see how they perform. So I'm going to use this one probably because it's the most similar to my flame burr that I normally use in shape. And the first thing you want to do is cut in your lines. So that's what we're going to do first. In fact, before I actually start cutting, I'm just going to use my Sharpie to make sure that I know which lines I need to cut, rather than waiting till the end and realizing I've cut the wrong lines. So again, draw your initial drawing in pencil, then go over the ones that you're happy with a Sharpie. Then trying to make everything perfectly symmetrical on both sides, because with a face, it makes a big difference. So at this point as well, we're just going to go through this tutorial on how to carve a wood spirit. So if you're just here for the burr review, what I will say is For the price, I think they're great. Am I still going to use my cut saws for cutting out? 100%, because um, this probably took me about 2 hours to carve. With my cut saw, it probably would have taken half that time. But in general, they cut, so I'm really happy with the burrs, and I think they'll be great for smoothing out. And you get a good selection of different shapes as well to get in all those nooks and crannies when you're trying to smooth things out to save time on the sanding. So, yes, I would get them. And also, you may have noticed that there's no music in the background on this video. I've had a couple of comments saying that they actually found the music in the background quite annoying. So you would rather listen to my voice than listening to the music in the background. So I'm cutting it out on this track. If you want them back, just let me know. I'm all about keeping you guys happy and trying to do the videos the best way that I can to inform you guys in the best way possible as well. So just going to go straight into it. First thing we're going to do is cut in those deeper lines. I tend to work the Dremel at around about 25, anywhere between 25 and 30,000 when I'm carving. So we're just going to go around those lines, going reasonably deeply, but I don't want to put too much pressure on the burr because I don't want to ruin them. And the same with the flex shaft. I've actually had this one for 4 years by looking after it, I suppose. So just going to go around all of those lines, putting them in. And what I would say is if you haven't carved for long, take your time. There's no rush. And the longer you take, the better you get, the better it'll be. And the more you get used to using the tools as well, which is always very useful. Now I'm just feathering out those cut marks that I've made because when you start wood carving, you realize that carving it's not necessarily about carving in, it's about taking material away, which makes what you've carved pop and stand out. So what I'm trying to do now is just make that nose stand out and cutting away some of this excess material. You can always redraw your lines back in as well, guys. So you can already start to see that face popping out. And what I would say is take lots of little passes. Don't try and do it all in one, because if you do that, you're probably going to wreck your flex shaft or your tool or your drill or your burr. So it's just a case of take your time with it and make multiple passes. Always thinking about what shape you want to create when you're carving and just take a little bit away each time. As you can see, it starts to form. And it's just about every time you make a cut line, feather away. Again, just taking the bridge of the nose down a little bit here. I've sped this up 4 times as well, so you don't have to have an hour and a half of me speaking at you. And I'm just starting to put the beard lines in here to give me a rough idea of where I want them. Again, what's made it a little bit difficult with this piece of wood is the fact it's 2 different sizes on each side. It's not a perfect size. So I'm going to try and swoop the beard around to sort of make up for that when you look at it. And again, it's exactly the same process. So make those cut lines and then feather away. Also, just on a separate note, we are up to, I think it's nearly 4,500 subscribers now. So thank you very much for subscribing if you are. And if you haven't, please subscribe. We're going to be doing lots more wood carvings, lots more wood projects, and also some epoxy projects. So if any of those interest you, hit the subscribe button and follow along. As soon as we get to sort of 10,000 subscribers, we're going to try and grow this community and start doing sort of monthly competitions, monthly carving competitions, things like that with prizes. Here I'm just putting in the forehead in the wood. Again, exactly the same process. So it's just a case of going in deep and then feathering it away to the shape that you want. At this point, realise that I've only used one burr up till now. I've got a pack of 10 to go through. Try one of the other shapes as I am trying to do a test on them at the same time as doing this carving. So I went with this sort of cylindrical rounded burr for the next bit. And again, it was just to see if it was any better at feathering out. If I'm being honest, I think whenever you use these tungsten carbide burrs, it's going to take a while, but you tend to get a cleaner finish at the end. But what I'll probably do is still stick to my usual process of using something like a cut saw extreme to cut to the basic what I want. Then I'll go around it with one of these just to smoothen everything out and reduce the amount of sanding that I have to do. But if you've never carved before and you want to try it, just do it, is my advice, because you'll be amazed at what you can create if you try and put the effort in. And some carvings like this might take about an hour and a half to 2 hours. Again, longer, depending on how much detail you want to put in. But some of my carvings have taken 4 or 5 days, but they're the ones that I'm probably the proudest of because the detail is really there. So um, if you've not looked at any of the previous videos, there's quite a few different tutorials. One of them is how to carve a mushroom in 15 minutes. So anybody can do this, guys. It's just a case of getting yourself some sort of rotary tool. Doesn't have to be a Dremel. You could use cheaper one. Get yourself a pack of burrs and get some wood. You know, the best wood's free wood. If you can see a log or a branch just lying around, pick it up and see what you can make with it. So I don't know if you can see, but we're already starting to get that facial shape, which is great. I'm just going around everything a little bit deeper now. You tend to find if things don't pop as much as you want them to, don't be afraid to go deeper. So again, to make that nose stick out more, I'm having to take away more material at the bottom as well as the forehead, which means I'm going to have to take those cheeks down a little bit as well, just to really make it pop. Again, when you're watching this, my carving's actually at 5 times the speed, so I'm not as quick as you can actually see it on screen. Um, but again, it's just a case of keep on taking those little bits of material away. Here I am with the nose, just trying to sort of bring that bridge down so it looks more like a nose. And again, it's just a case of keep looking at the piece and I'm thinking, right, what does it need next? And then carve that. It's as straightforward as that. So the basic shape is now there, I think. You can see the eyebrows, you can see the nose popping out, you can see the mustache popping out that we carved, and the cheekbones. So now I'm just cleaning everything up a little bit. And let us know in comments, guys, if there's anything in particular you want to see us carve. We like a challenge. So again, just smoothing everything out. Actually really happy with the general shape that we've managed to get this time. Because sometimes wood spirits can just come out looking a little bit strange and not realistic. For me, it doesn't really matter. Wood spirits, they're not real. It's just trying to get a facial feature coming out. Here I am just putting in the nostrils as well in the nose. And then again, I've put those cut lines in, so trying to take them out and round off that nose. And I actually wanted quite a big sort of almost a wizard nose for this, which I think you'll agree it's got that shape. Just rounding everything off. And I hope you'll agree it's starting to really look like a face now. Bringing that cheekbone down a little bit so it mimics the one on the other side. And now just going under the nose to round that off as well. And taking the smallest bit of material off everywhere and smoothing it out so I can have a look at what I think needs to be done next. Sorry about the camera here. I was trying to give you guys a better view and then actually move the piece out of the view of the camera. Again, those lines, just making them a little bit deeper so I can remove a bit more material from the middle. See how I've got his mustache kind of going, swerving to the side to help me with the size of the wood. Always try and support your piece as well, guys, when you're power carving, so that you don't get the burr fly off and hit your hand. Just going in with the eyes a little bit deeper as well, because that's the thing with your eye sockets. If you look at a human face, they tend to be quite deep on the face. And we'll go into how I do the eyes later on as well, because I did want this one to have eyes. Again, just going in a little bit deeper. Go slowly when you're going deep. So now just going over the piece, seeing what I like, what I don't like. Really like the nose. The eyebrows probably need to come down a little bit because they're a bit big, and I need to sort of push the forehead back a little bit further. And possibly that beard there, just to bring it down a little bit. But yeah, liking it. I've just put in this pointier cone burr in to put in a few more of the details. Again, you'll probably notice on my flex shaft, I use a quick release. It helped so much when you're going to be changing burrs regularly. You wouldn't believe how much time you save. But if you're interested in the birds, I'll put a link to those in the description as well. I'll put the link for the US and the UK. If you click on that link, the channel gets a little referral from it. So I'd really appreciate it if you guys could do that for me. If there's anything that you need off Amazon, do it via one of those links and it really helps the channel out. So just going to use this to push in those nostrils. So the way I tend to do it is I push straight in and then I bring it back around to the front of the nose, which creates that nostril shape. Now you will find that it burns the end of your burr as it burns the wood, because this is probably the most pressure that you're going to put on a burr. And now I've done that, I'm just rounding the inside of the nostril and the side of the nose. This is where we're going to be putting in those finer details. So I'm not going to speed this up too much because I want you guys to be able to see the details part, because I think that's what I've seen is missing from a lot of tutorials. So again, as I've got this smaller burr on as well, I've just put the nostrils in. I'm just rounding everything out again, going a little bit deeper here so that it separates the nose a little bit more from the face. And then following it all the way down through the mustache. And again, once I've made these new cut lines, it's a case of feathering them away. It's the feathering, it's the details that really make a difference to your pieces, guys. So this is where you should be spending a lot of your time. It's about getting those finer details in. That's what will make yours stand out. Again, now I've put those cut lines in, just getting them all out and smoothing everything out. We are going to be putting um, mustache and beard lines in later, but I want a smooth surface to start with. So the next bit we're going to look at is, at the minute we've got all beard and mustache and no mouth, so we need to put a mouth in somewhere. So I'm just smoothing that area out, making it a little bit lower, and then I'm going to push in. I'm going to see if I can get a better shot of this. There's those nostrils that we put in. And literally right where the mustache joins the beard, I'm going to push in just under the nose, trying to keep it central for this one, because that's where your normal mouth would be. And there you go. That creates one of the most simplest of mouths that you could probably do on a wood spirit. And the next step is going to be to put that bottom lip in as well. Again, just smoothing everything out as I'm doing it. And I think you'll agree, it looks like a mouth. That's the mouth done. Now to put in the bottom lip. Dead straightforward. All I do is go from one side of the moustache to the other. And once you've put that cut line in, all you've got to do is feather away a little bit and then round everything over. And there's your bottom lip formed. I tend to go back over the mustache lines, as you can see here, because I just think it makes the lip stand out more. There we go. Just going to try one of the other bears from the pack. Again, similar to a flame shape with this one. So just going to focus on the eyes now and the nose and the cheeks and getting those the way that I want them to be. So again, just smoothing everything out first with the burr. Make sure there's no lines and that everything joins. Right, now to put some eyes in, which will either make or break this wood spirit. So we'll have to say I'm really happy with the shape we've got so far though, but eyes can be difficult. And actually done a separate video just on eyes as well and the particular burrs that I use. But I've got these semi-cylinder shaped ones, and actually I think these would be a perfect size for this, for an eyeball. So they're slightly cone shaped and they work really well. Again, they're made in China. They're just diamond bits, but I've really enjoyed using them so far. And I think they give you just that eyeball shape. And the good thing is you can do it any direction. So that's in. It's time to position exactly where we want them, so that they look natural. Because trust me, if your eyes don't look natural, you'll know. And if you realize with the human eye, it tends to be just under that top eyelid. So I'm trying to go a little bit up the same time as pressing in to create that eyeball shape. And I'm trying to do them sort of equally spaced apart and reasonably central, if that makes sense. But again, these burrs, they're brilliant for eyeballs. And there's actually a few other things that I use them for now. And again, they were only from China, so they're about 12 quid for a set of 12. But if you're looking for those, look for the previous video on how to carve eyes. So now we've got the eyeball in, we're just going to want to shape it a little bit. So I'm going back to these burrs that we've got with the carbide aluminium ones, and just trying to find one with a bit of a point on so I can get some of those details in. So what I'm going to try and do now is just go around the eyeball that we've just made, um, to lower all of the material around the eyeball and make the eyeball pop out a little bit more. Just here is what we're looking to bring down, and the same on this side. So this is the bit where you really take your time, because this will make or break the piece. And don't get me wrong, if you went wrong, you could always just drill a hole in and say that they're the eyes, but it won't look as good. I will give you a close up once I've gone round the eyeball as well, just to show you what I mean. Now for the other side. Again, you'll see I'm just using that pointy bit, sort of go under the eyeball that we've just created and carve away some of that excess material to almost make a bit more of an eye cavity, I suppose. And I think it just adds to the realism. And again, going all the way around, trying to get to the other side of it as well. And again, just feathering away those under that eye socket that we've just created now to, again, make it more realistic. It's always about removing material to make what you've just carved pop out. So there we go. That's your eyes, that's your cheeks, that's your mouth, that's your nose. We're getting a face. Just going underneath that lip again as well, just to round everything over. And next for the eyebrows and the beard hairs. And actually, I thought there'd be a really useful burr in this kit for doing those, which is like a cylindrical aluminium cutter one. So we'll go through that in a second. Here, I'm just giving it a bit of an outline of the face. You don't have to do that, but I just think it makes the piece pop a little bit more. And again, just feathering away those cut lines that we've just made. And the same the other side. So when you're putting straight lines in, you'll actually find it easier to do it with like a round, flat bottomed bit like this one. Well, I say straight lines, even straighter curvy lines. I find it easier with something like this, just at an angle when you're cutting in. So what I'm going to try and do is follow the way that I want the mustache to move and the beard. Again, with the eyebrows, I'm going to want them going that way for that eye and the opposite direction for the other eye. So eyebrows first, dead straightforward. Just let it roll across the piece. Let it roll across the eyebrow or the beard, whatever it is you're doing, and let it create the design. And if you're not happy with it the first time, just go over it again. Keep on going until you're happy with the way that it looks. Worst case scenario, if you're not happy with it, you can carve the whole thing off and go deeper again. But all you're really using here is that really thin edge of the circle to put in the hairlines. So that is the eyebrows pretty much done. I'll give you a close up in a second. And then we'll move on to the beard lines. But if you're still here, 39 minutes in, I really appreciate you. Please support the channel by subscribing and click the notifications button as well, because then you'll get notified every time there's a new video out. There we go. Those eyebrows look pretty realistic. Onto the mustache. And again, you've got to make these lines the way that you want the mustache to look like it's going. And if you look at anything in real life, it's never a perfectly straight line. So you don't want just straight lines. You want slightly curvy lines as you're going down. So again, just going all the way around, putting in those slightly curvier lines in the direction that you want the mustache or beard to go. Now with a beard, make sure you go all the way up to that bottom lip, because in real life, if you've got a beard, typically that's where it starts. And these are the bits that you really take your time on, because it's these final bits that make the big difference to the piece. Doing the same with the other moustache. And with this one, I'm trying to make sort of circular lines to make that swoosh effect of the moustache sort of swooshing around in the wind, because of the facial direction and things like that I've got for the wood spirit. Or wizard, whatever you want to call him. I think he's sort of a combination between the two, which I quite like. I think he's got more of a wizard's nose and beard and more of a wood spirit face. Let me know what you think in comments. And then what you want to do is just slightly cross over your lines. So do it very slowly, but go from one line across to the others, and it will just give you a more natural look. So here I am just slowly crossing over some of the lines that I've already put in. And I just think it gives it more of a realistic effect. Not too many, but you want a few. And we are coming to the end now, so don't worry, guys. You've not got too much longer if you have been here throughout the video. And my videos aren't normally this long, guys, but I wanted this to be more of a step-by-step tutorial so that if you've never carved before, hopefully after watching this video, you should now be able to carve a wood spirit for yourself. And here I'm just adding in a few extra lines just below the cheekbones, because again, when you've got a beard, you've often got those beard lines that are a bit higher up as well. So again, I'm just trying to give it that element of realism. But no, there you have it. He's pretty much done now. Final bit, I think, now is just to do a bit of sanding in certain areas, just to smoothen certain areas out. And for that, initially, I'm going to use one of these sanding drums that you can get for the Dremel. And I'm just going to really use this on those round areas that I want smooth. Just as a reminder as well, when you are using these sanding drums or doing any sanding, turn your speed down, your RPMs per minute on your Dremel, otherwise you'll wreck any of them. I tend to do mine anywhere between sort of maybe 10 to 12,000. So here we go. I'm going to speed this up. We're just going to go around the round edges and smoothen it up, and then I'll show you what we do for the beard. So that's enough with that one. And now I'm going to use sort of my homemade flat sander. If you want to learn how to make these, they're dead simple. Helps you get in all those nooks and crannies. And I've done a video on it, which is called How to Sand Like a Pro. So look that up. In fact, I'll link it in the description as well if you want to see how I make these. But these are really useful because they don't take away too much material, but you can get in all of those nooks and crannies, which really gives you a great result at the end. And again, just a case of making sure you're going over everything, including your eyebrows, including your beard, and this will take any of those little fuzzy bits out, which saves an awful lot of time when it comes to hand sanding, which I know is most wood carvers' least favourite part of the job. So there we go. That is Mr. Wood Spirit done. Don't know what we'll call him, but if you can think of a name, let me know in comments. Really happy with the way this guy turned out. Now, the only thing left now to do is just to think about what finish we want to use. I decided because the wood was so nice anyway, I would just use some standard mineral oil just to help the grain pop. but I may actually change the colour of his beard to make it stand out even more. And I'm actually considering painting his eyes. But let me know what your thoughts are in comments, whether we should leave it with this natural finish, which you'll see at the end once it's done, or whether we should try something different. Again, always when you're adding mineral oil, just add loads, let it soak in. It can only help the wood. Now, if this was going outside, I would also put a thin layer of like yacht varnish on it as well. But I don't know. I might be keeping this guy inside, I think, because I really like the way that he's turned out. Look at that nose. Look at those eyebrows. Let me know what you think in comments. But if you've made it until the end, I really appreciate you watching all the way to the end. These are the burrs. As I say, I'll put the link to those in the description as well. I think they're great. I do use them again. Um, I'll still be using mainly my cut saw though for the cutting out because it makes things a lot quicker. So one more look at the finished piece, and yeah, if you've enjoyed the video, I would love it if you could subscribe to the channel. Let us know if you can think of a name for this guy as well. Look through other videos, including that burr stand at the back. There's a video on how to make one of those, but we tend to do lots of different videos all about wood carving, mainly power carving or epoxy projects. So if you like those, hopefully you'll like the channel, and hopefully you'll go out there and try one of these wood spirits yourself now. So let us know how you get on. And if ever you guys need any tips or anything like that, feel free to put it in comments of the videos. We will respond to every single comment. If you like the video, please like, subscribe, and share it because it really helps with the algorithm. And the bigger this channel gets, the more we're going to be able to do. Thanks for watching.